You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
This is Michael Medved. Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany, once said that God offers special protection to drunkards, lost dogs, children, and the United States of America. We'll explore that special protection and what it means in The American Miracle. Subscribe to The American Miracle on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts.
New York news is world news, so start your day off with the New York Daily News podcast. Hear the latest coverage from the New York Daily News team all in just a few minutes, so you can get today's headlines whenever and wherever you are. New episodes drop weekdays, so listen and subscribe to New York Daily News wherever you get your podcasts. That's New York Daily News, wherever you get your podcasts.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Ken, here in the studio with Jeff and Neal. What's up?
Hey, we just had a very riveting conversation about matching T-shirts.
Yeah, you guys are accidentally wearing the exact same T-shirt from Target.
Accidentally, because I didn't call Neal beforehand.
And I have the same T-shirt, but in a different color from Target. Mm-hmm. So good on Target for the good deals.
And Matt's trying to go find a T-shirt at Target. That's why he's not here today.
We told him, he saw our T-shirts and was like, where did you get those? We said, you know what, you can skip today's episode, go out and get one of those good Target T-shirts.
Yeah, 2 for $8 or something, Jeff?
I don't know. But
I don't know if it's that good.
Yeah, probably not that good of a deal.
But guys, I've been a little out of sleep lately. I'm a little worried, lying awake in terror. Because with the cicadas that we've been having in the Midwest recently, I'm worried that next year we're going to have like super birds.
They're all just going to be
this year's baby birds are eating especially well. So I'm worried that next year we're going to have like jacked birds like up in the trees arm wrestling and stuff.
We saw that they're making drones out of dead birds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are even more confused now.
I thought birds were fake.
Well, that's what they said. They said that you called the fake bird conspiracy theorists, crazy, but now there's drones made out of...
they're proving them right?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But we have some very special guests today that are even better than the deal Jeff and I got on this T-shirt. We're so happy to have them here. We're going to start with our host, someone who's been on the show a few times. We love having him here. He's been in studio, over the internet. We love seeing him in person, and his epic goatee coming to us from Pittsburgh, new Pittsburgh transplant, Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, Paul McLaughlin. How are you, Paul?
Doing really well, guys. How about yourself?
Welcome back.
Yeah, doing awesome. Great to see you.
Likewise. Yeah, just enjoying a beautiful sunny day here in Pittsburgh, which before moving here, I had no idea was a rarity. We get a buttload of rain in this town, but gorgeous day and really excited for this.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you here and hosting today's game. And we have a very special guest here that we're excited to have and to talk about. Been on our radar for many years, but here to represent SporcleCon, which we're so excited to be appearing at. We're going to be at the rooftop of the Madison on Saturday at, I believe, 4 p.m. So we're excited to do a solo competition there, but we're excited to introduce him from Somerset, New Jersey, Jason Sterlacci. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing great, guys, and I'm really jealous. The rooftop of the Madison has like one of the most gorgeous views I've ever seen in Detroit. It's really, knock on wood that it doesn't rain. It's going to be gorgeous that weekend up there.
Well, we're excited.
A great view to distract from us.
Yeah, from our questions. Just look at the view.
From our visage.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go look. Yeah,
it'll go look. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also about this year's SporcleCon, because we're super excited. It's in Detroit. Last year was in DC. This year in Detroit. So tell us everything you'd like to tell us about SporcleCon.
Sure. So first about me, very quickly, I'm Sporcle's content strategist, which means my job is very busy. If you ever go to the website, sporcle.com, the quizzes that are on the front page are picked by me and my coworkers. I'm the one who's supposed to plan ahead and try to capitalize on things. So, like, for example, the day we're recording this, next weekend is the Tony Awards, and I'm trying to think about Tony's quizzes as well as Father's Day stuff and House of the Dragon and all that good stuff. I also do that for events, our pub quizzes across the country and our music quiz that we're starting to roll out, things like that. when it comes to SporcleCon, I am in charge of basically approving all of the content that we write. So, for example, just the other day, we finished our draft of Spell Check Yourself, a quiz for people who really like to spell.
Nice.
Where spelling counts, which is brutal for every single person who tested it, except for me. They were mad at me because I was like, I'm a spelling aficionado. So there's that. Battle of the Brains is my baby besides my actual child. It's like the big obsession of my life. So basically, I do a lot of writing for SporcleCon. For those who are listening and have not attended SporcleCon and are thinking about it, it's a weekend full of trivia, both by us and by outside groups. A chance to celebrate community, a chance to be together with people with a very kind of weird interest. I know, I'm quiz and trivia obsessed. Paul, I know you are. You were at last year's. Were you at the first one?
I've been to all the SporcleCons. Yes, indeed.
Both. All two of them. It's a wonderful weekend of togetherness, seeing people you don't get to see, friendship, making friends, all united in a love of knowledge and fun and competition, but also not like the most crazy competition. I mean, some things are crazy competition, but if you're not like a super hardcore player, there's still stuff for you there too. And I cannot sell this enough. This is a hard sell. Come to SporcleCon.
And we're excited to be there. I mean, we're going to be there on that Saturday, like I said, 4 p.m. on the rooftop. It'll be pretty
like gargoyles,
looking
like gargoyles.
We're going to be cement as we host the game. We'll have some prizes and things like that. But yeah, just like Jason said, great chance to meet people that you maybe interact with online you haven't met in person before, and play some fun games. Our recent guest Buzzy Cohen is going to be doing Battle of the Brains again, which is awesome. Get a chance to see him, and then maybe see Jason and do a spelling spell off or something like that with him.
I don't think I'm going to be physically in that game, mostly because I'm going to be running around like a crazy person. But I did. It's fun.
Can people
say hi to Jason as he passes by in the hallways in a panic, though?
Yes,
just right. An orange blur.
Yeah, find you in the alley and say spell fuselage or something. Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we'll continue to talk about SporcleCon in this episode. It looks like, Jason, you're going to be partnering with Jeff today, and you had a team name all ready to go.
As a huge wrestling fan and a fan of this podcast, I know the love of the Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop. So I also love superheroes, so I went with my favorite Spider-Man reference and wanted to call us Team Bonesaw, because Bonesaw is ready.
All right. Well, we're going to have you a lot more than 3 minutes. So,
and I remember from the Spider-Man movie that his opponent was the Flying Dutchman, and he's the guy who gets stretchered out going, my legs, I can't feel my legs. But on this podcast, we're going to be the Flying Dutch Boy.
Wow, that couldn't have worked out any better, Ken.
It really worked. It
couldn't have. All right. Well, we're gonna throw it to our rules read. And we're going to have maybe Darren do his best Pittsburgh by Somerset, New Jersey accent, like a half and half.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
All right, we have the rules, so let's jump right in. Paul?
All right. We have a very pop culture heavy game written here. Not 100%, but I know that's what we like around here. So we are going to start this out, round 1, question 1, under nominative determinism strikes again. The first round of the 2004 NFL Draft produced one of the strongest groups of quarterbacks ever, bringing in stars Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, and Eli Manning. It wasn't all winners, though. Who was the quarterback the Buffalo Bills took with the 22nd pick in the first round?
All right, we're not super sure, so we're just picking somebody that we know.
Jason, I can't say I'm a Buffalo Bills fan.
Nor am I. I'm a Jets fan.
Okay.
Which is its own sort of torture.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Well, you should be familiar with the Bills then.
Yes, that is true. I should be familiar with the Bills. So You guys are locked in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in.
Okay. So, Jeff, what I'm thinking is I'm trying to just remember who would have been a quarterback around that time. So my first thought that popped into my head, I think he was a Bill, and this sort of fits as nominative determinism, is J.P. Lossman, like Loss Man.
Yeah.
Unless there was like a guy named like Picker or something, or
I don't
that I'm just not
remember that. No, JP Lossman's
Johnny Interception had a short career as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes, John Tickasack.
Yeah, you got Brett McButt Fumble. But yeah, I think actually Lossman works, I think, perfectly because he didn't make much of a name for himself, and also the name describes a lot. So I think it's great.
Especially it describes the Bills around that time period.
And most time periods.
True. Not right now, but yes.
Most.
All right. Well, we're picking somebody whose name was more about his personal hygiene, perhaps, but we picked Rex Grossman.
That's good.
All right, we do have one correct answer here. Putting up 5 very mediocre seasons with the Bills was J.P. Lossman.
Nice.
He did eventually prove himself, however. After his time with the Bills, he then bounced around to a few other teams, and then he joined the Las Vegas Locomotives in the upstart United Football League, and that year he led them to the inaugural UFL title.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Las Vegas Locomotives. Are there trains in Las Vegas? I've never seen. I guess a monorail. Yeah.
All right, round 1, question number 2. You're in the office, baby. It stinks bad. Who is the only African-American to win both Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor Academy Awards?
We can lock in.
It's Denzel, right? Like, I would, it could be Morgan Freeman, but
think so.
I'm trying to think. He won for Training Day, for sure. Mm-hmm. Did he win for Glory, Supporting Actor? That's like the only thing I can think of.
I thought he did win for Glory. I guess it would have been Supporting Actor, but...
Yeah, like Broderick would probably have been the lead actor in that movie. I mean, I guess, there's no restriction on multiple people. The only other person I can think of is Morgan Freeman, but my first thought was Denzel.
And I can't think of a single. You're in the office now. No, I like Denzel. See if that's the right choice. So.
All right. I could say that we chose Morgan Freeman, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, we went Denzel. Yeah, Glory and Training Day.
Okay.
Yeah. You're in the office, baby is from Training Day, and It Stinks Bad was a quote of his from Glory. It is Denzel Washington.
Yep. Yeah, Morgan Freeman only won for $1 Million Baby supporting.
Just $1 Million Baby? Okay.
Yeah.
He's never won a lead? Wow.
No.
All right. Round 1, question number 3. I thought it was kept in Hangar 51. Located in Aksum, Ethiopia, the Chapel of the Tablet is supposedly the home of what item? It is said to be guarded by a virgin sentinel known as the guardian of this item, the only person who was ever allowed to see the item in question, and who is not permitted to leave the chapel until their death.
All right, me and Neal discussed a little bit. We think we've kind of parsed it out, and we're locked in.
Yeah, I was just saying, so my first thought was Chapel of the Tablet. Is it possibly the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments? That would be, a possibility. The other one that comes to mind is potentially the Ark of the Covenant, not knowing even whether or not that is still a thing. Be pretty easy to, keep that going if no one's allowed to see it. So.
What a coincidence.
So when the title was read as Hangar 51, my brain immediately went to Indiana Jones. So I wrote down
Ark of the
Covenant and Holy Grail ? But the Holy Grail, if I remember from Indiana Jones, and I don't know why I'm locked in on this, the Holy Grail falls into a pit, if I remember correctly, at the end of Last Crusade. So I was thinking the Ark of the Covenant, and conveniently, the Ark of the Covenant, if I remember right, is described as where the 10 Commandments are kept.
Which would make sense, yeah.
So we'll say the Ark of the Covenant with the caveat that that's also...
We think it's both.
Are we comfortable with that?
I like the Ark of the Covenant. The clue definitely points me towards Indiana Jones, so...
You have chosen wisely. We think Ark of the Covenant.
You stole my line. The Guardian of the Covenant oversees the Ark of the Covenant. And yes, Hangar 51 is where the Ark is stored at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And yes, it is very easy to make this claim when absolutely nobody is allowed to see it, and the only person who is allowed to go see it has to die before they can leave. All right, round one, question number 4. This is a question about boxing, if you catch my drift. February 11th, 1990 saw one of the biggest upsets in sports history when Mike Tyson lost by knockout to the 42-1 underdog Buster Douglas. This fight was held at 9 a.m. local time in order for it to be televised to a U.S. audience at a non-ridiculous hour. In what country did this fight take place?
So I remember it kind of being an Asian country, and when I hear drift, I think Tokyo Drift immediately.
Oh, see, I was thinking boxing, maybe like the Boxer Rebellion, China. But
oh yeah,
I think the drift is the stronger hint there. So
yeah, so we'll go Japan. We're looking for country, right? If not city, Tokyo.
Oh, actually, I do have country written, but I have country written in the question, and I have the city written in.
I will note that I did write Japan down.
Yes.
I turned 6 when this happened, and I remember it very vividly. I didn't watch the fight, but I know it was in Tokyo. So
that'd be great though if you did. You're a little 6-year-old, and you're like, I want to see.
My grandfather really loved boxing, so it's possible he made me watch it, but I don't remember watching it.
Yep, both teams are correct here. It was held in Japan,
Nice.
in Tokyo specifically.
His grandfather actually made him watch it like he was in A Clockwork Orange. That's why he has completely forgotten it since.
That's how I watched Tyson Holyfield too, when the ear got bit off. So yes,
I hope to see Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully.
Same.
Yeah, that got pushed back to like November, right?
Yeah.
All right. Round one, question number 5. Voiceover doesn't necessarily mean animated. John Leguizamo, Ellen DeGeneres, Norm Macdonald, Gilbert Gottfried, Chris Rock, and Albert Brooks all contributed voiceover work to what 1998 film, the number 6 earner at the U.S. box office that year?
All right. Well, Neal and I think that we've nailed down the genre for sure, and we picked something that maybe came out around that time in said genre, and we're going to lock in.
Jeff, I have no earthly idea what this question is.
My first thought is a film like Babe, right? Where it wouldn't have been animated, but you would have had probably quite a number of voice-overed roles. I think that's about 98. I don't know if that's...
Okay, can I push back on that slightly
Yes.
then? Because Babe came out a little earlier than that, but there was a sequel to Babe.
Okay.
I believe it was called Pig in the City. And my girlfriend at the time, I was a teenager, loved the first movie, and we went in and saw it. I was thinking like a documentary. I was like, but what documentary would be number 6 in box office? The Babe 2, Pig in the City, or whatever the hell it's called, Pig in the Big City, or something like that. That fits perfectly.
Okay.
I really like that.
Okay. Let's do that. I don't have anything better, but it kind of fits all the things I'm thinking a film like this
really
would
good.
need to be. So
Yeah, we're picking from the same genre of animal dubbing, and
We said Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Well, as it turns out, both answers that were said were 1998 movies, and it is all these voices were used for animals. Then they were all able to speak to Eddie Murphy in Dr. Dolittle.
I didn't realize that was 98. Oh,
Yeah, same.
I thought that was later. I would have swore that was later. Oh, what a great pull.
well, gentlemen,
Nice
that brings us into a tie. It is 40-40, going into the second half.
Yeah.
All right, round one, question 6. Ask yourself, do you feel lucky? Between 1994 and 2005, music label Epitaph Records, which was founded by Bad Religion guitarist Greg Gurwitz, released 10 albums featuring compilations of songs by bands signed by that label and its affiliates. While some of the albums had subtitles, All of them had the same main title, followed by a number designating its place in the series. What was that main title?
Reluctant.
Oh, nice.
Epitaph Records, serialized.
I feel like, I mean, Dirty Harry makes the most. It could be Clint Eastwood. It could be. I mean, my musical tastes. Anybody who's been looking at my Facebook today knows that I love folky singer-songwriter music. Okay. So this is not. I like Bad Religion, but I'm not deep enough to know any of this.
Yeah, I'm not getting this one either, unfortunately. I'm thinking either Dirty Harry or
Clint Eastwood. It's one of the, or maybe it could be like one of the movies, like Magnum Force or something like that. But I think Dirty Harry is probably.
Yeah, Dirty Harry sounds good. Clint Eastwood, I think we're just maybe thinking of because of Gorillas, but.
Yep, and well, Dirty Harry's also a Gorillas song.
That's true.
So. Yeah, let's go with Dirty Harry and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I think you needed to complete the quote with punk, and it's Punkorama.
Yep, as would be a fitting compilation from Epitaph Records. This is Punkorama.
I kind of vaguely remember that series now.
Next up, round 1, question 7. But he wasn't a hero. The real heroes get a distress call from the commissioner and take off their glasses and change into capes and fly around fighting crime. Your question is, who was the only U.S. president to be named Time's Man of the Year before being elected president? 8 years before his election in this case.
All right, we had a couple presidents in mind, but I think we locked down on one. So
yeah, well, I don't think Bedtime for Bonzo was getting Ronnie Reagan any Time Man of the Year awards ahead of his presidency. But my first thought was Dwight D. Eisenhower was pretty important a handful of years before he became president. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, Paul said 8 years before, and he became president in, I think, 50. Well, he started in 53 is when he was inaugurated.
And he would have won the war in 45.
And that's like, it's got to be, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep, we came up with the same answer. We were thinking maybe Reagan, but yeah, they don't really give that out to like your run-of-the-mill celebrities.
The actor?
So. Yeah. So Eisenhower.
All right. Time's 1944 Man of the Year for his role as Supreme Commander of the Allied Invasion Force was Dwight David Eisenhower. And your the title, that was a Dwight Schrute quote.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All right. Round 1, question number 8. Just don't try to pay in pennies from heaven. Frank Sinatra passed away on the evening of May 14th, 1998. And while it wasn't fast enough to save him, Sinatra's ambulance was able to arrive at his home and transport him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center very quickly in light traffic, allegedly due to many in Los Angeles being indoors to watch the airing of what sitcom's finale?
We're locked in.
Jason, I think Neal was also glued to the TV for this one. Pretty sure that's Seinfeld.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 1998 would have been around when Seinfeld ended.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with that. I can't think of any other finale that was that big right then and there.
Yeah, I'm like 90% confident on that, so I think we're.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
We're gonna go with Seinfeld.
We agree. We said Seinfeld.
Yep. Frank Sinatra died during the U.S. West Coast airing of the finale of Seinfeld.
He missed it.
Now he's never going to know about George's betrayal.
Half of it, I think.
That's life.
All right. Round 1, question number 9. And the Institute, but no one likes them. What specific video game, which has seen a recent resurgence in popularity some 9 years after its initial release due to an expansion into other media, features joinable factions such as the Railroad, the Minutemen, and the Brotherhood?
All right, I think we're locked in.
So it's definitely Fallout.
Okay.
They're definitely a faction. I know the Brotherhood is like the first thing I think of when I think of Fallout. I just don't know any specific games in the series. I mean, I know the games, but I don't know like which one's which.
Right. I mean, which one would be at least 9 years past? All of them? Not all of them, but... I mean, New Vegas, at least, would be, I would think.
I think it's New Vegas.
Okay. Let's go with Fallout New Vegas.
Okay. We also said Fallout New Vegas.
Okay, both teams said Fallout New Vegas, which came out 14 years ago. Seeing a big boost in replays following the release of Amazon Prime's Fallout series is your answer, Fallout 4. Which I played the hell out of 9 years ago, watched the series recently, said, yeah, I need to do that again. I'm about 100 hours into it again over the past.
So you're saying it's not Fallout 76?
It is not Fallout 76. All right, and your last question in round number 1. Events so current that I wrote this question 20 minutes before we started recording. Who has an acting career that has spanned some 80 years in film, television, and stage? Has been a recipient of a Golden Globe, a Tony, a Grammy, 2 Daytime Emmys, 4 Primetime Emmys, inducted into the Television Hall of Fame, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, holds a Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, and inducted into the 1998 class as a Disney legend. This is a current event because last night, June 7th, 2024, at age 98, they made Daytime Emmys history as the oldest winner ever for a guest performance in the soap opera Days of Our Lives.
So we're talking about somebody who's in their 90s. I missed the Daytime Emmys because I was watching Illinois on Broadway last night. Could it be Dick Van Dyke?
Oh, yeah. It could be.
He's definitely a Disney legend, right? Like,
yeah.
He's got to be.
Yeah, and he's definitely pushing 100. So.
Yeah, let's lock that in. Dick Van Dyke.
Yes, he did all of that and invented the Toot Suite, but still
right.
can't do an English accent. We said Dick Van Dyke.
Also honored last December with his own CBS special, Dick Van Dyke, 98 Years of Magic.
Awesome.
At the end of the first round, it looks like Team Bonesaw picking up 30 points, bringing their total to 70, and the Flying Dutch Boy picking up 40 points, bringing our total to 80. Very close game.
Before we jump into the swing round, I want to talk a little bit about our Patreon.
Yeah, if you'd like to join us at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast, you can get a ton of bonus audio content, including weekly bonuses, which are 3 weekly bonuses of trivia hosted by us, plus a monthly crop drop, which is an Ask Me Anything style episode. We have a lot of fun doing those. And along with those, there is about 60 or 70 hours of audio content that we've recorded over the many years that we've been doing this that you get access to for as little as $5 a month. But if you don't want to hear ads like this anymore, or any ads from our network Airwave, you can also donate just $1 a month, and those will go away.
Goodbye. Let's move right on to the swing round. Paul, what do you have for us?
All right, because I love them so very dearly, we have 5 pop culture before and afters for you.
All right.
All right, so since there's 5 of these, we'll do 10 points each on these.
Number 1. This band may have celebrating getting their clothes on the cheap by mocking Prince backstage after performing The Bird. Number 2. I'm not quite sure why Ian Curtis disbanded this group and formed Fugazi. Perhaps it was because he no longer felt like a nut. Number 3. It's the New Orleans-based rebrand that Barbie did on her home in the 2023 movie, which has been a ruin of many a poor boy. Number 4. I don't know what inspired this terribly nearsighted cartoon character to give up on an 80s punk rock sound and become 90s mainstream rock stars, but we'll let it slide. And number 5. While many wrestlers moved from the NWA to the WWE, this might be the only time a founding member of the other NWA donned a mask and became WWE champion in a 3-way match between himself, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle.
All right, we will think about these, and we'll be right back after this break.
Here's a trivia fact for you. Do you know what is on 1 in 5 Americans' bucket lists? Learn a new language. If that's you, make 2024 the year you finally check it off the list with Babbel. If you're serious about speaking another language, what Babbel can promise you are useful language skills, along with learning the context, traditions, and culture the language you're learning is grounded in. I like to pretend to be a Dutch boy on the podcast, but with Babbel, I can actually speak to all of our Dutch listeners. And I will say, I had a great time using Babbel before going to France last year. It helped me order food for my wife. Vous avez des options sans gluten, s'il vous plaît? Not too shabby. With Babbel, you can access more than 13,000 hours of learning content. And guess what? Here's a special limited time deal for all of our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/triviality. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/triviality, spelled BABBEL.com/triviality. Rules and restrictions may apply.
New York news is world news, so start your day off with the New York Daily News Podcast. Hear the latest coverage from the New York Daily News team all in just a few minutes, so you can get today's headlines whenever and wherever you are. From the mayor to the MTA, Harlem to the Hudson, Yankee Stadium to Yonkers, and everything else. New episodes drop weekdays, so listen and subscribe to New York Daily News wherever you get your podcasts. That's New York Daily News wherever you get your podcasts.
And we are back. We have our answers ready to go. Paul, let's hear those before and afters one more time.
Okay. Number 1. This band may have celebrated getting their clothes on the cheap by mocking Prince backstage after performing The Bird.
Man, we don't know, but we're going to just throw caution to the wind here and say Men's Warehouse of Pain.
That's great. We went with Save More is Day in the Time. Save More is Day. I don't know what Save More would mean, but yeah.
Well, you were half right on this one. Celebrating their clothes on the cheap, that was a reference to Thrift Shop by Macklemore Day in the Time.
Yeah. I thought about that too. I was like, oh, Thrift Shop.
I did hear you say Thrift Shop. I was like,
we didn't make that
there.
leap to the next step there.
I do love a good Morris Day in the Time reference, so it's good.
Number 2. I'm not quite sure why Ian Curtis disbanded this group and formed Fugazi. Perhaps it was because he no longer felt like a nut.
We said Almond Joy Division.
So did we. We also said Almond Joy Division.
Almond Joy Division is correct.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, Ken. Sometimes you don't.
Number 3. It's the New Orleans-based rebrand that Barbie did on her home in the 2023 movie, which has been the ruin of many a poor boy.
We said the Mojo Dojo Casa House of the Rising Sun.
Oh, God. I didn't even think about the fact that it was the movie. We said Dream House of the Rising Sun.
No, this was referencing the movie. It's the Mojo Dojo Casa House of the Rising Sun. Number 4. I don't know what inspired this terribly nearsighted cartoon character to give up on an 80s punk rock sound and become 90s mainstream rock stars, but we'll let it slide.
We said Mr. Magoo Dolls.
We also said Mr. Magoo Dolls, although technically it should be Mr. Sex Maggots, I think, was what they were called back in the day.
Yes. Well, but their first 2 albums are such amazing hardcore. Their first 3 albums are... their third album, Hold Me Up, still one of my absolute favorites. And then they discovered movie soundtrack money and were never the same.
The girl wasn't the only one getting dizzied up, right, Paul?
Exactly. And number 5. While many wrestlers moved from the NWA to the WWE, this might be the only time a founding member of the other NWA donned a mask and became WWE champion in a 3-way match between himself, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle.
We said Dr. Dre Mysterio.
Booyaka Booyaka 619. We also said Dr. Dre Mysterio.
Dr. Dre Mysterio is correct. Good job, guys.
After the swing round, it looks like Team Bonesaw picking up 30 points, bringing their total to a clean 100. And Team Flying Dutch Boy picking up 40 points, bringing our total to 120. Still a close game.
All right, kicking off round number 2 with question 1. 500 isn't that bad of a record. Tom Hanks for Philadelphia, Adrian Brody for The Pianist, and Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour all share what specific commonality regarding their Best Actor Oscar wins?
All right, we'll go ahead and lock in here.
Well, so, yeah, Jason, I don't know if you have a thought on this, but
So my thought is that I learned the other day that Tom Hanks played, or Tom Hanks's performance in Philadelphia was based on a real person. Andrew Beckett's not a real person, but like the story is based on a true story. So they've been nominated for playing a real person twice, and this is the one each of those actors won.
Okay, so we are trying to look at the years the movie came out, and we're trying to figure out if maybe someone from the same film won an Oscar, and we thought, what about the competition? And with the clue of 500 ain't bad. We know Daniel Day-Lewis won 3 Oscars and was nominated around this time, so perhaps it was they all beat Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, in playtesting this, the feedback I got was, this question is ridiculously too hard. And I said, this is for Triviality. Neal's going to be playing. While Daniel Day-Lewis is the only 3-time Best Actor winner, he also has 3 losses. Hanks, Brody, and Oldman all beat Daniel Day-Lewis to win their awards.
Yeah, as soon as the years got read off, I was like, oh no, that's Gangs of New York and Phantom Thread, I think. And
I think Phantom Thread, yeah.
Philadelphia would have been, is that In the Name of the Father?
That sounds right, yeah. Or Last of the Mohicans, but yeah, probably In the Name of the Father.
Oh, Last of the Mohicans, maybe. Yeah, but regardless, that's really well done, guys. That was
definitely
fantastic.
not my left foot.
Round 2, question number 2. Lord knows the answer to this one. The University of Scranton in Pennsylvania is home to several NCAA Division III athletic teams. These teams were originally called the Tomcats, but in 1946, the teams changed to what name, inspired by the purple color of their uniforms?
Lord knows the answer to this one.
Royals? Lord?
That could work. I mean, yeah, purple is definitely associated with royalty.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, I could see that. I could be... Yeah, I like that. That's the best I got. I was thinking, like, it could be, like, saints, because, you know, I'm always, like, thinking alliteration, but
so we're thinking...
It doesn't really
Royals?
fit with purple.
Royals is our final answer.
Yeah, Royals.
All right, we're going to say bishops.
And if anybody had asked me to spell Lord in the title of this, I would have said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, perfect.
It is the Royals.
Nice bowl.
Round 2, question number 3. This one didn't end up getting melted. Running for 3 seasons on WTBS from 2013 to 2015, and one 2015 British season on Sky One, King of the Nerds was a reality competition series in which the final contestant won, in addition to cash, the right to sit atop what nerd-appropriate piece of furniture?
Okay, it sounds like these guys are locked in. So, is this maybe something from Game of Thrones? It's the throne.
The throne.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what its name was. It's the one made out of the swords,
yeah,
right?
I got it, Jason. No worries.
Yeah, is that the Iron Throne? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep, we also said Iron Throne.
Well, the throne that they were able to sit upon once they won it was made up of a ton of different gaming equipment. They won $100,000 and the honor of sitting atop the throne of games.
So our confidence betrayed us on that
Indeed.
one.
Just like all the Game of Thrones characters, too much hubris.
The throne of
That's
games.
Yeah, it was a very fun show. It wound up really dying off after a couple of seasons just because once people figured out how to game the popularity contest of it. But while it was a new thing, it was a lot of fun to watch. All right, round 2, question number 4. Things you learn standing at a urinal. To the nearest tenth of a liter, how many liters are in a gallon?
I'll go ahead and lock in on behalf of our team.
Uh-oh. 2.4?
Yeah, because I mean, a 2 liter of soda, it would probably fill up most of a milk gallon, I would think.
All right, we'll say 2.4.
For some reason, I think it's 3.75.
So you're going to round that to 3.8 since it's to 10th?
Oh, it's to the 10th? Yeah, we'll say 3.8.
Okay. And yes, I was inspired to write this question while peeing at a bar. The urinal was inscribed with 1 gallon / 3.8 liters per flush.
Well done.
Wow.
All right. Round 2, question number 5. And if you say we didn't, I'm docking you 500 points. In what year did man last walk on the moon?
Is there a reason?
10 years of fun.
Is there a reason that we just haven't done it again, or is it too much money? Don't want to, or what?
A lot of reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
No one's gone back, so we haven't had to like rebeat them at their own game.
the competition kind of ended.
I mean, once Kubrick died,
They got what they needed. Yeah, once Kubrick passed.
I think we're gonna. I think that's negative 250.
So the last time was 1998.
Immediately after Eyes Wide Shut, the NASA said no more moon after Kubrick passed.
The next moon mission was going to be very sexy. We're locked in.
Okay, so obviously the first one was 69, July 20th of 69, I think, and I know all of them took place during the presidency of Nixon.
Yep.
Was it 72? 73?
I wrote down 73 question mark when the question was asked.
Because I there was only 6.
11, 12, 14, because 13,
Yeah.
15, 16, and 17. So there were 6 missions that made it.
And
I could see it being like 2 a year. So maybe 72?
72 is the one that just popped right into my head. I don't know if that's right, but I feel like we're coming up, or actually we would have, we've passed 50 years now since we've been on the moon. So
yeah.
All right. 72 for you guys. We're saying a little later, 1978. And in the original draft, Neil Armstrong's first words once stepping on the moon was going to be Fidelio.
All right. Well, it was the Apollo 17 mission, which took place from December 7th through December 19th of 1972.
Nicely done.
They're storming back.
Yes, the other team is storming back. Bonesaw getting their score up to 130, making it a tie game. It's 130 to 130 after 5 in the second round.
Turns out when you stop asking like acting and pop culture questions and you ask me about numbers, I'm okay with that.
No more numbers.
Numbers are my friend.
Round 2, question number 6. No, it has nothing to do with sex. New York City's Howard Stern law restricts what activity to nighttime hours only?
We'll say maybe blasting your radio outside someone's window, just like John Cusack. And
okay,
you think that's okay during the night in New York? I mean, New York's a wild place.
If you want to do the say anything, it has to be at night.
New York is a crazy place, you know.
That is true. Can confirm.
All right, so you're saying say anything?
Yeah, we're gonna say that John Cusack say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing on this. So
we're saying maybe public toplessness.
Okay, well, in 1994, Stern announced he was running for governor of New York, and he eventually withdrew his candidacy over not wanting to disclose his income, but one of his key platform pieces was put into law later that year. The Howard Stern law states that in New York City and on Long Island, road construction can only be done at night.
Oh.
Huh.
Yep, he had 3 key pieces, three key planks to his platform that he said, I'm going to run, I'm going to win governor, and I'm going to get these 3 pieces of law passed, and then I'm going to quit. It was road construction, death penalty, and I forget the third one, but he never wound up actually officially running because they wanted financial disclosures, and he said, no, I'm not telling you that. All right, round 2, question 7. He's a symbol, a metaphor. He embodies the dementia of a nihilistic generation. He's a star. Deborah Spungen founded the organization Families of Murder Victims in 1980 after the stabbing death of her daughter. She then went on to write a memoir of her struggles, 1983's I Don't Want to Live This Life, followed by a textbook in 98, Homicide, The Hidden Victims. Who is alleged to have murdered her daughter, although he was never brought to trial, dying of a drug overdose 4 months later? Gary Oldman portrayed him in a film biopic of the couple.
I can lock in on this.
Okay,
I know this.
Great.
This is Sid and Nancy, I think.
Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely Sid Vicious. As soon as it's Spungen, I should have picked up on that immediately.
Yeah, the spongin part, if you know about Sid and Nancy, that was the end. But at the end, I was like, you know what, this is still playing kind of tough. So I threw in the Gary Oldman part. Yeah, it is Sid Vicious, bassist for the Sex Pistols, who allegedly murdered his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen.
Okay.
I feel like if Sid Vicious was in like a Pixar movie now that was about like household items, it'd be Sid Viscous or something.
No, that's when he becomes a chemist and he studies fluid dynamics. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Sid Viscous, the fluid
Now,
dynamics.
was Sid Viscous Newtonian or non-Newtonian?
Oh, he was all about the non-Newtonian fluids.
Yeah. And the category title was a line from the character playing Malcolm McLaughlin in Sid and Nancy. Round 2, question 8. Not the one with the slash in the middle. In total number of units sold, what was the top-selling book by the creator of the NBC TV series ER?
Jeff, I'm like 99% sure on this. I think we can.
I'll trust you on that. We can go ahead and lock in. All I've got in my head is wow.
So we know Michael Crichton
Michael Crichton.
created ER.
Yep, produced by Steven Spielberg.
It's got to be Jurassic Park, no?
It's either got to be Jurassic Park or maybe the Andromeda Strain. I'm trying to think
That's what I
of.
was thinking as the maybe backup answer, but
I mean,
after the Jurassic Park movie, surely.
What an eclectic amount of books by this
and then
film.
Westworld, but that wouldn't have been a huge.
No.
Or actually, Westworld wasn't even a book. He just made the movie.
I think it's got to be
Yeah,
Jurassic
he wrote
Park.
Westworld.
He wrote Westworld. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not.
No, that's okay. It's got to be Jurassic Park, right? Or are we thinking too simple? Because the clue was
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't have a slash through it in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Or does the Jurassic Park have a dinosaur
Yeah,
claw?
it does. Like 3, Jurassic Park 3.
So it's
Has
3
one.
does, yeah.
All right, we'll say Jurassic Park.
So the slash reference is the other ER show that was on in
Oh,
the
yes.
80s, which was E/R. I think George Clooney was on that show too.
He was, yeah.
He was.
Yeah, I think if it's not Jurassic Park, Paul, you can go to hell. Like, that's where I'm at.
ER was indeed created by Michael Crichton, whose most successful book, far and away, is the Jurassic Park.
Don't do this to us, Paul.
I forgot about E/R.
Just for the hell of it, I want to know what his second best-selling one was, because if it's not the Andromeda
I
Strain,
bet you it is.
you think
It's
so?
either the Andromeda Strain. It could be the Lost World because he wrote that. Jurassic Park 3, I don't think was turned into a book.
Yes, The Lost World is his second
Oh,
most
interesting. Okay.
successful.
Yeah.
He also wrote Congo, didn't he? Or am I mistaken?
He did. No, he
And
wrote
then
Congo.
Sphere.
That
And don't
movie's
forget
terrible.
about Coma.
Coma. Yeah, that's true. Sphere.
What an
Sphere, yep.
eclectic bunch of books.
How do you? And it is kind of weird that
And movies, and
James
shows.
Patterson apparently finished his book Eruption. So it's James Patterson, Michael Crichton. It just came out.
I think Crichton was a doctor too before he became a writer, but I'm not entirely sure about that.
Wow.
Very tall as well.
Him and Howard Stern.
And he's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Is he
No,
really?
no, I just made that up.
I can believe that.
I
Why
believe
not?
it.
All right, round 2, question number 9. There were more important things for the announcers to discuss than the game. What major U.S. sporting event, although your opinion of that description may vary, took place hours after the tragic plane crash that claimed the lives of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others?
Okay, we're locked in.
So this was definitely the winter of 2020. I was in the gym. I was running on the treadmill when I saw the news pop up. I feel like it was late January, early February. Is this the Super Bowl?
No, here's what it is, actually. And this is why he said description may vary. I know where I was. I was when I found out, I had landed at Detroit Airport for planning. It wasn't even SporcleCon. It was TriviaCon at the time in Las Vegas. And I went in early for this planning meeting because my boss, Mark, shout out to Mark Adams, invited me to his house to watch the Royal Rumble. It's the I'm almost positive it is the 2020 edition of the Royal Rumble.
And that would have been what, January of 2020, right?
The week before the Super Bowl 2020.
Yep. Okay.
All right. We just said the U.S. Open.
So, January 26th, 2020 was the day that Bryant, his family, and the others passed away in that crash. That was the day of the Royal Rumble. So I am absolutely going to have to give credit for that. That was also the day of the 2020 NFL Pro Bowl.
Oh.
That's right. It is the Pro Bowl because it's always the Royal Rumble's always the week before the Super Bowl, which is also the Pro Bowl. Yes. So nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
So you get some bonus points there. You get some surprise points.
Yes, indeed.
That's kind of points.
Wow.
Round 2, question 10. The final question. So long, Triviality. Well, before the bonus, anyway. When it first opened in 1966, the audio specialty store that would eventually become rebranded as Best Buy went by what name? A name it shared with a popular Rodgers and Hammerstein play and movie.
All right, these guys are locked in. You were thinking Gilbert and Sullivan originally, right?
Originally, I was thinking of,
But I don't think we're running to the HMS Pinafore to get our burnable CDs.
Right, or the Pirates of Penzance for your VHS player.
Although there was a lot of pirating going on at the end there.
So what are you getting there? What are you picking up on?
So we wrote down South Pacific. We wrote down Carousel, which also would be a really great name. But the category was So Long, Triviality, which makes me think of So Long, Farewell, Avita saying goodbye. So maybe Sound of Music?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, we also said The Sound of Music for that same reason. As soon as I wrote the category down, and So Long, it's got to be Sound of Music. Although if it's Carousel, that's a good name too. Just wouldn't fit, Paul.
No, you both picked up what I was laying down. So Long is a reference to The Sound of Music, which was what Best Buy was originally called when it first opened.
Well, the scores are being tabulated here. I will say, Paul, that these questions have been a few of my favorite things. So loving this game so far.
Yeah, great questions from Paul here. And obviously, the answers have been coming through as correct for a lot of the game because the game is very tight. It is 160 for Team Flying Dutch Boy and 170 for Team Bonesaw. So 10 points.
Lead.
We lost the lead. We're 10 points behind. And just before we get to this final round, Jason, when is SporcleCon and where can people sign up?
Sure. SporcleCon this year is going to be August 16th to 18th in Detroit, Michigan. You can get tickets at sporclecon.com. Very easy. SporcleCon.com. /tickets, although I think there's a link right there on the page itself.
Awesome. Well,
do you guys have a code?
I don't think we have a code actually, but we can make one up. We'll just say it's Dutch Boy, but it's not going to work.
And I'm also scalping, and there'll be $200 from me.
Yeah, and if so we're excited. Well, hopefully we'll see everyone there, and we'll get to see Jason. Like we said, you're going to find him in an alley and do a spell off.
Yeah. And if you really want the true SporcleCon experience, you're going to want to go August 14th through the 19th, because that's when I'm booked for there. You definitely need a couple of days of pre-gaming partying, because there is just too much fun, too much shenanigans to cram into just 3 days for this.
Yes, and if you want a good time, Paul is definitely the person you want to hang out with.
And before we jump into the final round and place our wagers, just want to remind everybody one more time about Patreon. For the low, low price of $5 a month, you can unlock all of our bonus content, including our 60-plus hour backlog of all of the bonus episodes that we've done before. And you'll get additional episode every week.
Yep, and if you don't want to hear us talking about this every week for as little as $1 a month, you get all the new episodes ad-free. So you can just have a nice, clean recording and just listen to all the nonsense and no ads.
And if you're feeling extra generous, we do have physical treasures available, such as our Patreon boxes, stickers, posters, all that fun stuff. And you can get all the previous levels at that level as well. So, a lot of options there at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. All right, Paul, what do we have for the final?
Okay, we have 5 questions coming for you that now we're going to go back 2 years or so when I ran pub trivia at a small bar that I bartended at back in Jersey. And every game I would end it with a bet it all, a wager question, bet all you like on it. And it was, and always the question would be an amalgamation of 2 topics. They were always typically pretty long questions, so we're going to have to strap in for this one here. Your 5 categories are, number 1, classic rock and geography. Number 2, fads of the 1980s and movies of the 1990s. Number 3, punk rock and television. Number 4, NFL ticket prices and business history. And number 5, pro wrestling and film careers.
All right, looks like both teams had the same exact idea because they were scared of question 4. They put 10 points on it, but 30 points all the way down otherwise. So it's just going to come down to the right answer. It's not really going to come down to the wagers. So let's get those questions.
All right. Bonus number 1 in classic rock and geography. 5 specific U.S. cities are mentioned in the song Rockin' Me by the Steve Miller Band. List these 5 cities in geographical order from west to east. Number 2, fads of the 1980s and movies of the 1990s. A standard Rubik's Cube has 6 colors on it. The 1992 film Reservoir Dogs had 6 main characters, all with names assigned to colors. In order to remove any controversy, I'll give you this. A Rubik's Cube has yellow, and the movie had Mr. Blonde. Of the remaining 5 colors from each group, name the 3 that can be found on both lists. Number 3, punk rock and television. In 1982, California punk rock band Black Flag released one of their most popular singles, relatively speaking, TV Party. The song is an ode to being a slacker, with lyrics like, "We've got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews." In the song, the band name-checks some of their favorite shows, 80s programs like That's Incredible, Dallas, and Hill Street Blues. They also named 2 shows that I want you to tell me in order to earn your points. Both of these shows were on the air in the early 80s, obviously, are still on the air today with new episodes, not just reruns, and have a day of the week in their title. Number 4, NFL ticket prices and business history. Of the 5 NFL teams that are the most expensive to take in a game, including 1 average ticket, a 16-ounce beer, a hot dog, and parking, which team's city is the home to the world's first convenience store, which opened in 1927? And number 5, pro wrestling and film careers. I have a list of the top 10 unadjusted box office totals for male professional wrestlers turned actors. For instance, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is number 1 on this list with a box office total of $5.5 billion for movies in which he appeared. What I want to know is, who is the highest ranked person on this list that has never held a singles championship title?
All right, we will think about these answers and we'll be right back. And we are back, and we have these questions one more time to find out who will be today's cream of the crop. So let's rock and roll with Steve Miller.
All right, question 1 in classic rock and geography. 5 specific U.S. cities are mentioned in the song Rockin' Me by the Steve Miller Band. List these 5 cities in geographical order from west to east.
So I think we identified the song. We don't really know the lyrics. I know they go Boston something something L.A. and something about Tacoma. And we added Cincinnati and Chicago.
He goes from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. So if I reshuffle that, I believe going west to east, it would be Tacoma, LA, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Philly.
If you were to make the road trip and hit all those cities in that order, the 4,072-mile trip would take 61 hours of nonstop driving from Tacoma to Los Angeles, Phoenix, Atlanta, and then Philadelphia. You got it. All right, question 2. Fads of the 1980s and movies of the 1990s. A standard Rubik's Cube has 6 colors on it. The 1992 film Reservoir Dogs had 6 main characters, all with the names assigned to colors. In order to remove any controversy, we'll give you this. Rubik's Cube had yellow, and the movie had Mr. Blonde. Of the 5 remaining colors from each group, name all 3 that can be found on both lists.
All right, so a little controversial here. We were trying to decide whether brown or orange was on the Rubik's Cube. I think it might be brown because of orange's closeness to red. So we're saying blue, white, and brown.
We said Tim Roth, Harvey Keitel, and the other guy who has like one line. So white, orange, and blue.
Yeah, yellow and blonde were off the table. A Rubik's Cube has red and green, while Reservoir Dogs had Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink. That leaves you with the correct answers, blue, white, and orange.
Damn.
Number 3, punk rock and television. In 1982, California punk rock band Black Flag released one of their most popular singles, relatively speaking, TV Party. The song is an ode to being a slacker with lyrics like, "We've got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews." In the song, the band name-checks some of their favorite shows, or 80s programs like That's Incredible, Dallas, and Hill Street Blues. They also named 2 shows that I want you to tell me in order to earn your points. Both of these shows were on the air in the early 80s, obviously, are still on the air today with new episodes, not just in reruns, and have a day of the week in their title.
All right. We said Saturday Night Live and Monday Night Football.
Yep. Saturday Night Live, Monday Night Football. They also say Fridays, I think. This is more the punk that I'm familiar with, Paul. But Fridays is not on the air anymore, I don't think, unless I've been living under a rock. So we said Saturday Night Live and Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they absolutely do name check Fridays in there, but no, that has not been on the air for quite some time. Your answers are Saturday Night Live and Monday Night Football. Number 4, NFL ticket prices and business history. Of the 5 NFL teams that are the most expensive to take in a game, including one average ticket, a 16-ounce beer, a hot dog, and parking, which team's city is the home to the world's first convenience store, which opened in 1927?
We said Dallas Cowboys.
We also said the Dallas Cowboys. We were not, I think 7-Eleven, and I know that's Texas. I just wasn't sure if it was Dallas or Houston. So we kind of flipped a coin.
All right. The 5 NFL teams that are the most expensive to take in a game are the Las Vegas Raiders at $273, the San Francisco 49ers at $241, the New England Patriots at $224, the Dallas Cowboys at $210, and the Carolina Panthers at $209. The world's first convenience store, which eventually became 7-Eleven, opened in 1927 in Dallas, Texas, making your answer the Dallas Cowboys. Boo. Number 5, pro wrestling and film careers. I have a list of the top 10 unadjusted box office totals for male professional wrestlers turned actors. For instance, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is number 1 on this list with a box office total of $5.5 billion for movies in which he appeared. What I want to know is, who is the highest ranked person on this list that never held a singles world championship title?
After crossing off a lot of wrestler actors like Dave Bautista and John Cena, we got all the way down to Jesse the Body Ventura.
We originally had Roddy Piper, but I realized They Live can't have made that much money. So after some back and forth, Jeff suggested Jesse Ventura as a possibility, and I remembered Predator and The Running Man, so that's what we went with. Jesse the Body Ventura.
At number 8 on the list, with a total of $186 million, is Roddy Piper. At number 7 on the list, with a total of $330 million from such films as Batman and Robin, Demolition Man, and Predator, is your answer, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Nice.
Wow.
He held half of the AWA World Tag Team Championship, but his biggest singles title was the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Championship.
At the end of the game, it looks like Team Flying Dutch Boys only going to pick up 10 points, bringing their total to end the game at 170. But Team Bonesaw picking up a whopping 130 points, bringing their total to an even 300 and making them today's cream of the crop.
Yeah, I know. I'm living in a nightmare, and I am the cream.
In the words of Steve McQueen in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we never stood a chance.
That's true. Yeah. Great game, both of you. Great teamwork, and we were neck and neck the whole game, but this final round really...
So you guys definitely stood a chance. It was right there the whole time, so...
Yeah, Jason, so much fun having you here and getting a chance to play with you, play some trivia, and also hear about SporcleCon and everything. Any last words or anything before we let you go today? We had so much fun playing with you.
Oh, sure. First, thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure. Paul, thank you for some really fun questions. I really, really genuinely enjoyed taking a big chunk of my Saturday out to do this. This has been a blast. I hope everybody who's listening heads over to SporcleCon.com and thinks about buying a ticket if they haven't already. We would love to have you. It's a lot of fun. The best trivia quizzing fun weekend of the year. You should try to set aside every single year for it. Check us out. I can't wait to have you and say, you heard me on this podcast and decided to give it a shot. Yeah, come to SporcleCon, everybody.
Yes, please do. And we will be there, and we will be nude.
That's true.
Actually, for legal purposes. I'm not promising that we're going to be nude, but, just saying.
I'll be nude under my clothes.
We might be. Paul, always so much fun hanging out with you. We wish we could even do it more. Wonderful questions, great pop culture infused in all of them. Any messages before we let you go today?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. Always enjoy hosting here. Any chance to participate in a podcast, I always love doing it, and this has perennially been one of my absolute favorites. I want to thank my wonderful family for not minding while I take a couple hours out of our day to come up to our room and have goofy times like this. And if anybody is ever in the Pittsburgh area, check out Steel City Trivia on any of the socials or at steelcitytrivia.com. I am hosting at least one game a week, more sometimes, so you can check out all the locations and times there. And thank you so much, all.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for being here. And after you're done checking out Steel City Trivia, if you want to check out some other things that maybe aren't trivia related, Ken, where can people find some cool information?
You could check out Airwave Media at airwavemedia.com. You can find other great shows such as the Engadget podcast or Ben Franklin's World, which I'm sure is filled with syphilis.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And History Uncovered.
Yeah.
That's probably Ben Franklin's problem. Yeah, he was uncovered.
Well, yeah, thank you to Airwave Media. Thank you to our wonderful guests, Jason and Paul, and for Matt, who isn't here, for Ken and Jeff. My name is Neal, and that was another episode of Triviality. See you next week.